Changing mindsets and receiving new philosophies can be challenging. To make things less stressful, we at Mental Shampoo give a light wash through dialogue that can help one clean up their mindset. And this season, it's all about the brothers. Tapping into the mind of a black man to share various experiences with hopes of helping more brothers have a change of heart and a cleaner mindset. So tap in for a fresh wash with the latest episode of Mental Shampoo. Hey man, we back at it again. You already know what time it is. It's Key Marcane coming to you all the way live. Your favorite country cousin, your favorite Mississippian, and your best friend. Hey man, Mental Shampoo back at it again with another great experience. Let me tell y'all something, man. Hey, I've never had a guest to bring your boy gifts. Look, my brother came bearing gifts. I got books, and I'm a huge fan. For those who know me, know. I'm a big fan of red wine, and my brother has blessed me, man. Look, this brother, I'm excited to have a conversation with this particular individual because I feel like we're one and the same in real life. You know, he writes poetry. I write poetry. He's now an author. I'm working on my first book. You know, we have similar interests in different fields of work in terms of giving back, if you will, to the generation coming up behind us. I'm really excited to have this conversation, man.
Me too.
This is my brother, Steve Randle. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
My guy. Yes,
Absolutely.
indeed. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, you dig, to have a chat with me, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, again, my brother came bearing gifts.
Look, I mean, it's the Southern guy in me, right?
You
you don't show up to nobody's house, man, without a gift.
Come on,
but
classic.
at the same time, it's the poet in me. I mean, it's passion for writing. Passion for writing.
Okay.
We drink Grand Passion, and you're a fancy guy. You know what I mean? Like,
Blessings.
that's what it is.
Blessings, man. So Steve Randle, ladies and gentlemen, also known as Doc, also known as Told by Sir. All right. I want to get into the nicknames, right?
Yeah.
How did you get the name Doc? Like, where did that come from?
Wow. The nickname Doc, man, was honestly given to me by my dad.
Okay.
I was 7 years old.
7.
And I won a Gold Glove trophy.
Okay.
In a baseball tournament.
Yeah.
And on the bottom of the trophy said the Glove Doctor. And that was it. I honestly could not tell you the last time my mother, father, anybody who knows me actually called me Stephen.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I said, Doc just stuck, man. And, you know, once kids hear it, they carried it to school, and I just ran with it, man.
That's a cool nickname, bro.
I just ran with it.
Big facts.
I've been trying to get the PhD side of it, but I'm cool if I'm just I'm cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so as told by Sir, curious to know, how did that come about? Like, was it the way that you shared your life experiences? Was it the way you told stories? Like, how did As Told by Sir become a thing?
I think it's all one and the same. Sir, my initial, Stephen Isaac Randle. And so it's always
I like that.
so you know, it's always Sir has always been a part of me.
Okay.
I added it to Doc, and so I've always just called myself Sir Doc, and that was it.
That's fire.
But I think it's the way that I tell stories.
Yeah.
And the stories that I tell.
Okay.
I never will say the same thing like anybody else. I mean, that's what makes us unique. And so when trying to come up with a name, I figured, you know, why search for a name when I'm sitting on something? And so everything that I tell is going to be in my voice. So anything you hear is as told by me.
And you talking
that's
spicy
kinda how it came.
already.
Man, you know, look.
You talking spicy already.
I can't be here without doing it, man. Like, I've watched every episode, listened to everything, and I can't come on here slouching, man.
Man, blessings, bro. I'm humble, man. For real, for real. Now, the SIR, Sir, was that intentional by your parents?
I don't know. My dad's name is Steve Randle.
Okay.
He doesn't have a middle name.
Okay.
And so my grandfather's name is Isaac. My great-grandfather's name is Isaac.
Dope.
So whether they did it on purpose, maybe not, I definitely did it on purpose.
That
I'm Stephen
is
Isaac
so
Randle.
fire.
My son is Spencer Isaac Randle.
Okay.
My baby boy is Silas Augustine Randle.
Come on, all the sirs.
Daughter is Sydney Marie Randle. So I mean, I put SR on everything.
I love that, bro.
Yeah, man.
I love that. Let's get the people like some more background. You know, where you from, what was life like for you coming up? Again, shared that, you know, you're a poet, you're a writer and author, amongst other things. Like, so from your upbringing on up to how did you get into writing? Like, maybe talk about the first writing that sparked your interest to want to write?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm a Vicksburg kid.
Okay.
Born and raised Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Yeah.
River City boy. Like I said, I was cool with the nerds because I was smart, but I was cool with the gangsters because I was cool, right? And there was a line that I wouldn't cross, and I think that kind of set me up for how I walk through life. Right?
sure.
I was always able to bounce from one side or the other, but never let it feel like it wasn't authentic. Right.
Nice.
And so that's something that I've always tried to make sure that I was, even in the stage of my life when I was a habitual and an excellent liar.
Okay.
I mean, like excellent. Now I like to say it's a product of me being an only child. Right.
Okay.
I had to be creative. Right. And so as an only child, my mom was an only child, and my dad probably 12, 13 brothers and sisters in Chicago.
Oh.
But growing up, man, in Vicksburg, playing baseball, kind of, I guess, cultivated the way that I write. My dad was a Black Panther, Nation of Islam guy, and so before I could read, he was reading the story of the Black Panther Party, Message to the Black Man in America. We were listening to the Honorable Elijah Farrakhan. You know, we were listening to those things. And everything he listened to was Bob Marley, right? We fighting the power, everything. But my mom was like, Steve, don't do him like that. He gonna be angry like you, right? And so, but my father and I, we trained a lot. We did karate, we did baseball, and during those conversations, he would tell me what it's going to be like to be a black man growing up in this world.
That is so
and
cute.
how you have to be intellectually sound,
yes,
but also physically prepared for whatever comes your way.
Nice.
Right? Now, it translated in different ways. I'm a kid, so I'm gonna take it to school, right? So say something about my mom.
Yeah.
Box about
it's
it,
over
right?
with.
But I mean, you know, that's kids growing up.
For sure.
But that kind of just continued to build who I was. Now, I will say, being from a loving household, being an only child, my mother was an only child, I was coddled, right? And so there was this level of love that later on down in life turned out to be a hindrance. Now, I definitely won't say anything negative about loving your child unconditionally. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah.
But there's a level of get up and dust yourself off and catch you before you fall.
I like that.
Right? My dad was the get up, dust yourself off, do it again. But when mom was present, he had to reach and catch me because he didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Right? And so I went through life realizing that if I make a mistake, they there. It's cool, right? Now, my first poem that I actually realized that I wrote was called "The Black Man."
Okay.
My dad was called into the office by his superiors, and they just dogged him out. Right. I was sitting in the hallway, but I could hear it. And me knowing my father, I'm like, oh boy, it's finna get ugly in there because I know who he is, right? 3rd degree black belt, Black Panther. I know it's finna go down when they say these things to him. He doesn't say a word, right? And he doesn't say a word because he's thinking about me in the hallway.
That's heavy.
And there has to be a future for him even after I walk out of this room. So if I do what I want to do, there will be no life for him. Or what would that life be like, right? Now, prior to that, I think I was probably called the N-word playing baseball in Vicksburg, all white, all white sports. I'm the only spot out there. Probably called the N-word when I was 8, 9, right? And so by this time, this was like, oh, so that's what they mean, right? That's how they look at me when they talking to my father like that. So I jotted out a poem called "A Black Man," right?
Wow.
And for me, that was the first time that I actively wrote something. And I don't think the tone of my writing has changed much. It's very much so angry, right? But now I'm also noticing that there's hope in that. I was always putting things on paper, but I think I shared with you earlier, I haven't, it's just until recently that I've accepted the title of being a writer.
Right.
Because I was never willing to truly give it what it deserved. And I don't think that you can just throw that word out there in the atmosphere because there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that.
A lot of heavy responsibility. Why do you respect the art of writing so much that you stayed away from the title of writer until you felt like you were ready to take on that responsibility? Like what made you be like, you know what? Hold off, sir.
Yeah.
I
think it's because I love words so much. They've always meant something to me. Even to the point that I got tattooed on my forearm a
I was
scroll
gonna get to that.
that says verbal volant, script a minute.
Yep.
Written, spoken words fly away.
Yep.
Written words remain. When I got this, I was like, you know what? I had dropped out of Southern Miss at the time, and I'm like, you know, school ain't for me, right? I'm just gonna be a writer. I had self-published a book. Had no clue what I was doing, but people were like, "Oh, Steve, oh yeah, he wrote a book." Like, yeah, I did. I wrote a book. Yeah, that's me. Got it tattooed. My dad. I mean, bro.
Yeah.
Now we talking about a guy who gonna play games.
For sure.
He literally stopped speaking to me because he said, "I just need a job." And my response, "I don't need a job. I'm gonna be a writer."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wasn't actively pursuing it because I was still chasing a dream that wasn't mine.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was chasing a dream that wasn't mine, and it was simply based on the fact that what people say you're good at. Right? Steve, you should be a lawyer, man. You're so good with words. You should be an attorney. I'm like, yep, I should. And I saw people in my age cohort who were graduating after I dropped out, right? Who were going to law school, being successful, cars, money, women. I'm like, I'm sitting here in an apartment that my parents paying for. Dropped out of school, they still paying for my apartment. That shows you right there. That's where the flaw was. Right?
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah, you know. So I grew up, like I said, great 2-parent household. All of a sudden, I decided I'm not gonna let them save me no more. But wait a minute.
Okay.
I decided that I wasn't gonna let them save me anymore without an actual plan of action that was original to me.
Okay.
And so I found myself dibbling and dabbling in stuff I had no business doing.
Yeah.
Right. So I found myself living in low income housing, doing the food stamps. I was just playing the game.
Yeah.
But it allowed me to see a different side of life. Now, somewhere along the line, I found myself, but sadly, what ultimately had to happen to make me stop and start to see who I was becoming was losing my mother. And I mean, people say that it changes you, but it really did. It made me numb to the things that were going on in life, all while feeling like I need to do something better. Now, that was both a gift and a curse. It's both a gift and a curse because, again, I was just aimlessly roaming around. You know, I was anything that popped up, I'm going to do that. And I do it for 6 months to a year, and then I say, you know what? This ain't really me. So then I get complacent. I'm just kind of letting the check roll in, doing this, doing that. I'm going to do something else, right? And so I used to say, man, you know, life took me down through there. That's a lie. I took myself down through life.
Oh!
Like, let's be honest, right? Life does not have the ability to do, have the ability to do nothing to me. I took myself down through life.
No, that's heavy.
Right? I mean,
that's heavy for you to even to acknowledge and admit that.
Yeah, it wasn't. Nobody do nothing to me.
That is powerful, man.
Yeah, it's the truth.
Wow.
You know, it's the truth.
Wow. Okay. Because you said something. I got to go back to that, right? You said losing your mother. My condolences for sure.
Yeah.
Gift and a curse. What was the curse? Or was that the curse that you just shared?
The curse was the fact that I was numb. I became numb.
So what was the gift?
The gift was that it made me realize that everything that I should have accomplished, I was just putting off. It wasn't that I could not do it. Before she, like I said, she didn't get a chance to see me walk across a college, stage, which is what she wanted more than anything. And a kid who grew up, graduated with a 4.3 and got to college with a 3.9, there was nothing in her mind that said I wasn't going to do that until I came home with 2 semesters of 0.00 from Southern Miss. And it wasn't because I was partying, because I wasn't even going out. I just flatlined in life, right? But I ended up during that span writing a book, which she didn't too much care for because there was a lot of language in it. It was raw, you know? It was my mixtape, right? It was one of my mixtapes. But I ended up writing, producing, and performing a monologue.
Okay.
That monologue was called Lessons Before Living. It was a play on the lessons before dying. Lessons before living, because I felt like there were a lot of things I was going through that was teaching me actually how to live life. And standing on that stage with a sold-out crowd in Vicksburg Saturday night, and then all of her church family and other churches were there on Sunday. Yeah, she was sitting front row, and I think for her, that was the moment where she said, "You're gonna be all right." Right?
Ain't nothing like hearing that from your mom,
Come on.
yo.
Come on, man. That's for real.
Okay, so express to damn.
But the crazy part about it, I think what was also the blessing in that is it made me realize the things that I left in the balance.
Okay.
Because losing her, I said, okay, I got to get on it, right?
Yes.
Because at this point, I have a daughter, and she got a chance to spend like 9-10 months with her. But now I'm looking at my daughter and she looks exactly like my mother. And so I'm like, the things that I left in the balance, I gotta handle because my mama still right here. You know what I mean? So it was a crazy experience, but I still wasn't at the point where I realized that I was writing, right? And so for me, it's a difference between having talent and having a gift.
For sure.
I always knew that I had talent for writing. And people told me, you're good. I started a newspaper in junior high, all kinds of ridiculous stuff, right? Now, my poetry didn't sound like what we learned in school, so I didn't call it poetry. I just called it my stuff, right? But once I realized that it wasn't a talent, but it was a gift, that's when I appreciated it more, because at this point, if I have a gift that I didn't work for, I didn't earn, it's just my gift, and I'm supposed to give that, right? And so once I realized that writing for me was a gift, now I have to actively give that gift continuously. And so that's why writing lives forever.
Right.
Because if I have a cup, if I have this bottle, right? And if I have an empty cup and you have an empty cup, if I have my cup full, if my only goal is to just empty my cup, I can pour it on the floor. I can pour it on the floor.
Okay.
It don't do me no good.
Yeah.
It don't do you no good.
Facts.
Except one of us is probably going to slip on something.
Facts.
We're going to miss something. Now, if I have a full cup and you have an empty cup,
okay,
if my goal is to just clear space so that I can be ready to receive more, and if I want what's in my cup to help you, I can clear space by pouring this into your cup. And so now you have what I have, and now I'm ready to receive more, and that's just a cycle. Or we pour it into a pitcher, and I can continue to share it forever.
Indeed.
And everybody we can continue to cycle this. And so words can't, I used to just write dead words on paper. I used to just put stuff on paper.
Elaborate. Dead words.
Say I feel bad.
Okay.
Say I'm going through something.
Okay.
I open up my journal and I write how bad I feel.
Okay.
I write what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And I close it and I never look at it again.
Okay.
Those words have, that experience has now died there, because I'm not being intentional about making sure that somewhere at the end of that, I highlight the fact that I'm not dead yet. There's still hope for me to do something different. And if I pick up that same book, I pick up those same words and hand them to you, when you read it, you won't feel like your life is beating the hell out of you too. If I write with the intention of saying, hey, this is where I am, but I see light at the end of the tunnel, even though I'm not even in the tunnel yet, then those things continue to live and to grow. That's something I can go back to and I can read and I can see my growth. But if I just puke out words on paper that don't have a long lasting meaning, then I'm not doing myself any good. I'm just pouring water on the floor.
Dog, this is heavy. I hope y'all, at this point, y'all should have been ran and got pen and paper at this point. We got Steve Randle in here dropping gems, lathering up all this mental shampoo for y'all. Big facts. Man, lessons. I don't want to butcher the title. The first book.
My first book was Uncomfortable Spirit.
Uncomfortable Spirit, okay. Yeah. But the monologue.
The monologue was called Lessons Before Living.
Lessons Before Living. Okay. So, what were some lessons that you written within that and even to now that is helping you learn how to live your life?
First and foremost, it's not to hate myself for the things that I've been through. I can honestly say I'm not at a point where I am completely in love with Stephen.
Wow.
But I am a little bit better off than where I was.
Okay.
So I started in the first title was Solomon's Worth.
Okay.
Lessons Before Living. And so throughout that piece, I was Solomon, right? Because it's like he went through a transition for wisdom, right? He didn't just get it. He went through that transition for it. And so I started off in an orange jumpsuit, Warren County Detention Center on the back of it.
Okay.
And I was telling the story to the crowd of why I was here, right? Why I was incarcerated, the mistakes I made, the people I ran into, the things I didn't say that I should have said, the things that I said that I may have, shouldn't have said. And so throughout that, I mean, I had mime dancers, right? And so there's this point where I break down on my knees and mimes came out, right? So they're dancing to the first gospel song, my first realization that God was real in my life. And it wasn't because I felt like he saved me. It was because he made me see that I was destroying myself. Ooh. And because, again, my problem was that I was being saved. And so one of those lessons before living was having to get put, if you're not pushed out of the nest, at some point you got to jump.
Yeah.
Right. At some point you got to jump.
Yeah.
Because my parents, they never pushed me. My dad wanted to, but again, his lovely wife, the only son. Do I want to lose my entire life? Right. And so I had to jump, and that was my jumping moment. But by the end of the play, I took off the jumpsuit, and under it I had on a shirt and tie. And so I revealed that throughout that entire play and throughout my entire life up until a certain point, I was imprisoning myself. So everything that I was doing was putting bar after bar and laying brick after brick of this mental incarceration that I was not able to break out of because I thought I deserved to be there.
Wow.
And so I still live by that. So now when I make mistakes, right, I have to realize that you're okay. It's okay. It's okay to be angry, because honestly, I went through a period of about a full year without looking in the mirror. Like purposely not looking in the mirror.
Interesting. Never heard nobody do that before.
It's brushing my teeth with my head down. It's I know where everything is. I don't have to look.
Yeah.
Right. It's brushing my teeth with my head down. It's cutting the light off when I'm walking through rooms where I know, it's looking down at my outfit instead of at it, because I was ashamed of who I looked at. I was ashamed of what I saw. Damn. Because I knew that that's not the face of the kid that I grew up with.
Damn.
Right. I mean, and until we're able to stand in front of a mirror completely naked, you'll never grow.
Dog.
You'll never grow. But the thing about standing in the mirror, it's not sitting there pointing out your own flaws, because a lot of times we'll do that. I'll stand there and say, man, I'm not this, I'm not that, and that's cool. But only if it's living on the other end. See, those are those dead words, right? A lot of my poetry used to be, I can't believe you did that, and this, right? And now I say that I understand why you did that. I understand why you made that mistake. And so it's the exact same thought, it's the exact same circumstance, but you have to learn how to live, right? We're all conditioned we're learning how to die with diet, with extracurricular activities, with the things that we put into our minds. Like, we are learning how to die without trying.
Big facts.
But we have to actively learn how to live this thing, right? And even if it's not for us.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the things, what I had to learn most of all is that the things I'm going through are not for me. I've been through it already. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not for me. I made it through these things because my gift is laying the blueprint out and handing it to somebody to follow. I don't benefit from making it through a situation. God guided me through already. The benefit is knowing that I'm capable of it the next time it comes. But once I've gone through it, what else is there for me to do with it?
Yeah.
Other than to share that. And so, and that was one thing, because my mom, she wasn't a rich lady. She never graduated college, but she ended up being city president of Bancorp South. How? Because she just continued to work. And so after she passed, I used to have people come up to me all the time like, your mom Sadie? I'm like, yeah. She's like, God, she was really an angel. I'm like, yeah, I know that. And they were like, no, you don't understand. I was going through breast cancer. After she got it, she helped me through my chemo. I am now healthy. She was gone. She was here for a reason. And so until we realize that working and leaving that legacy doesn't have to be things, right? It don't have to be things. You just have to be able to see yourself and be unapologetic about your mistakes to you. You don't have to explain what you.
That's
you
valid.
You don't have to explain your mistakes to nobody else.
That's valid.
They don't actually have to live with it.
That's valid.
I gotta live with me.
Yes.
And so until I'm unapologetically Stephen to Steve in Stephen's face, it don't matter what I am to you. I can say, yeah, man, I really jacked that up back in the day. Don't mean nothing to you. But when I get in the car, I look and I said, damn, I shouldn't even say that, man. Now they gonna think about it. that's me beating me up, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I suffered with that I versus me always battling, right?
Wow.
It's not how I see myself, it's how I think you see me, right? And so until I forget about that part, the I will never be right. And like I said, that it's changed my writing, man.
Yeah.
It has. It's truly changed who I am, and that's why I'm now okay with saying, yes, I'm a poet. Yes, I'm a writer. Yes, it's unconventional, right? I have two different styles of writing. Like I write poetry, and that's the type of stuff I put in the book. But what I love is spoken word, and it's crazy as it sounds. For the years that I've done spoken word, I've never written them down. I don't write them because in my mind there's a rhythm to it.
That's fine.
And if I write it, it breaks.
That's
but again,
fire.
those were the lessons that I took from standing on that stage.
Yeah.
It's the opportunity to be authentic to Steve without regret.
Much love and respect. 3 pens to Capital Lean.
Yes.
3 pens of Capital Lean with Achille and Doc.
Yes.
All right. What brought about this project, this book, and if you don't mind sharing a couple of pieces within it?
Yeah, most definitely. Big shout out to brother Achille Nazar.
For sure.
Man. Jared Woods, OG Wooder.
OG.
Some people know him as OG Wooder. Not too many. But honestly, man, we went to Southern Miss together, and it's almost like we had parallel experiences without ever having to talk. Getting involved in the wrong thing. Now, unbeknownst to me, he was like super duper on that side of things, but was still like reading and writing. Like, who does that, right? When I was over there, I was over there. Like, wasn't no in between.
Yeah.
But we reconnected on Instagram, man. I saw, first of all, I'm noticing, like, I know this dude. I know the face, but like, this kid got muscles, and I'm like, he got books in his hand. Like, who is that, right? So I wrote him, like, bro, don't I know you? He was like, duh, And so we just kind of connected over books, man.
That's dope.
Ta-Nehisi Coates had just written The Water Dancer.
Okay.
And he was going to be in New Orleans being interviewed by Jasmine Ward. And I hit him up. I'm like, hey, man, you want to ride to New Orleans? Go, check out Ta-Nehisi. He was like, yeah, of course I do. So we got the tickets. Went to Hattiesburg, scooped him up, man. Between the ride to New Orleans and back to Hattiesburg, we had come up with Highland River Publishing. And
nice.
It was that easy.
Yeah.
Because we're like, we're both River City kids. We both read. We both write. Why don't we have something to elevate black voices like that, black pens like that? Why not? And why not us? And so we started, and then we started it, said nothing else about it, right? Waiting for him to finish his novel, waiting on me to finish memoir, novel, whatever it was that I'm trying to work on. And we're like, man, look, I got work, and you got work. Let's just put it together, put it out as our very first publication, and just let people run with it. That way we can go ahead and get it off of us.
Yeah.
Because again, my words are doing you no good if they're locked in my computer or locked in my phone.
Come on.
So we birthed it, and we laughed because we were both really into wolves and River City kids. And so we're like, Highland River, that's cool. And then Romulus and Remus, oh yeah, they floated down the river, right? And then were rescued by a wolf named Capitolina. Just makes perfect sense. Not to mention, Capitoline was a city on the hill in Rome, like Vicksburg, city on the hill. Natchez, city, come on. It's too easy, right?
On, yeah.
But at the same time,
that's crazy.
At the same time, we do things different down south, and so we lean with it a little bit, right?
For sure.
And so we changed the name to Capitoline, and we just kind of made it.
I love that.
We just kind of made it our own version of what's important to us, right? Like Capitoline back in Rome was this city where they worshiped from, and so our cities birthed us, and gave us what we worship. The Capitoline wolf. The women in his life are really important to him. I lost my mother and then realized how important she was, right? How much she nursed me, even when I didn't know it, even when I didn't know I needed it.
Yeah.
And so it just made sense for us. And I dare not diminish like the poems in here to say that they are only about being black or only about being a black man or only about being a black man in the South. But it is the lens that we see things through.
For sure.
And so that those are the things that we love, and that's who makes us who we are.
Yeah.
One of my favorite poems. It's so funny, man, because one of my former coworkers, she was like, "I can't wait to get your book."
Yeah.
And instantly, I was like, "I don't want to get it." right? Like, it's gonna be some things in there you're not gonna understand.
Yeah, make you uncomfortable.
It's gonna be some things in there you might not understand, but at the same time, one thing that stuck out to me is she said, "I want to not get it," and then I want to read it again and not get it, and then somewhere along the line, I want us to have a conversation about why I don't get it.
Interesting.
Like, wow,
That's a
you know
first.
what I mean? That's a first for me.
Yeah.
That's a first for me. But
That's dope.
the thing about it is, it's like that's what life is, right? And so poetry is supposed to be, writing is supposed to be a reflection of real life.
Facts.
You know, because I know we talked about how when we're writing, how sometimes when you get to a point where you start to think too much, you have to stop, or maybe you're interrupted.
Yes.
That's a reflection of real life.
Yes.
Like when I go about my day, of course I have a plan.
Yeah.
But as soon as I start trying to force something, something goes wrong. Or if my plan is going great, and next thing you know, one of the kids gets sick, I have to do this, I have to do that. I got to pause life. And at some point, I may be able to pick back up on my things to do list. But sometimes it's just going to go undone, and I got to be okay with that. And so that's what writing is, you know. So if I have a poem, that's great. If I finish it, even better.
Yeah.
But if I don't, maybe that's the poem, right? Maybe the poem is not supposed to have a period in it.
Come on.
Because, you know, again, we want our poetry to be living, you know. But one of my favorites is it's called Mississippi Boy.
Okay.
Like I said, it's honestly my experience being a young black man in Mississippi, working in Mississippi politics, being engulfed again in a world, in a dream that was never truly meant for me, regardless of what my aptitude was, right? Because there's a difference between aptitude and direction, right? I had no direction. I was going solely off aptitude and basing that off of what other people were accomplishing, and me saying, I'm competing with somebody who don't even know I exist.
Come on.
Like, I can do that way better than him.
Talk to him.
Let me put this tie on
Talk
right fast.
heavy.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You know, but Mississippi Boy.
All right.
There exists no shelter from the machine. Degrees nor favors, aptitude nor experience, philanthropy nor empathy for the human condition. None possess the intangible and mystical properties to supersede the same spirit that attempted to create animal of a man while that man became an animal. There are no winners in this arena, just tyrants, just bigots, just feathers that blow in the wind, just revolutionists, just season ticket holders, just dreamers and the abandoned. An entire demographic would be better served if the thoughts were of brother El Haj Malik El Shabazz instead of Lee Jackson and Davis when that X flies. Oh, how sweet the southern drawl of the good old boys when they say, yeah, that Malcolm fella, yeah, him. He was a real nigga.
Yeah.
My sense of humor is morbid, to say the least. You know, and so it's like real Mississippi stuff. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it translates.
Yeah.
You know, it translates to everything that you can ever think of. You know, because we have these power dynamics, and sometimes the only way to get around them is to go around them. You know, yes, we wanna fight. We know that there is something great on the other side of that, but maybe your path is not through it all the time, right? Maybe it's that way for you to avoid it. But again, sometimes we get so blinded in the moment. I think that as men, we get blinded in the moment. As a man, I take pride in finishing something that I start. But as a writer, can I limit myself to what manhood is? Or do I have to say, I am a writer? Yes, I'm a man. But I'm a writer who is okay with not finishing something. I'm okay if this doesn't go well, right? Because I'm writing living words. My life is not supposed to matter past me. If it does, I'm okay with that, and I'm happy with that. But if it doesn't, I still gotta live. I still gotta live. And so we as men, we have to understand that it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah, for sure.
And writing is a level of vulnerability that takes work. It takes work. It takes work to love my wife the way that I need to love my wife. It takes work to love my kids the way that I need to love my kids. I have to be vulnerable enough to do the small voice when my daughter asks, will you play dolls with me? While at the same time having the man voice when my son stick his chest out and I'm like, you know, I'll knock you out.
Yeah.
Right? And so But again, man, that's the experience that we have, and that's the experience that we all should seek at times, whether it's through writing or whether it's through, I don't know, anything, whatever it may be, whatever your thing is, like do that thing. Steve Harvey the other day, I heard a video. He said the first haircut I got,
Yep.
was like, what do you say, $15, $10, $15 or something.
Yep.
This guy went on tour with me.
Yep.
Now my haircuts are $1,500.
Believe that.
And I get 4 of them a week.
I seen
$6,000. When I went bald, he almost killed himself. But he cuts hair.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
That's what he does.
And he went back home.
Yeah.
And he cut hair.
Come on.
Now he owns however many barbershops, salons.
Yeah.
Now he has his own barber schools because he did what he does. So many times when something doesn't work, regardless of how much we love it, we step away from it.
That's a fact.
We step away from it, man. It's it's the need for instant gratification.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how not to want that.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I say I had to learn. I'm still having to learn.
Facts.
Because if we being honest, man, in my mind, when I post a spoken word piece, it's finna go crazy.
You did?
It's finna go crazy. Viral. When I wake up in the morning, my phone ain't don't work no more. And then I wake up in the morning and like 2 likes and like 36 views. I'm like, but people love me, right? And so but then I had to but then I'm looking at other work. I'm like, I know I can do that. I'm doing this thing, right?
Yeah.
And they got like 2 million views. But I had to realize, who am I writing for? Right? Am I writing for people to like it?
Yeah.
Or am I writing for it to help give you lessons to live that, and so we can learn this thing together?
Come on.
So I don't know, man. But the way that we kind of put this book together was we wanted to have like that normal poetry feel, right? Yeah. So it's love, it's loss, it's the way I see the world. But obviously we put our Southern spin on it, right? And so the part that we lost is I took a few L's. That's a whole section. And we got another section called Hit a Few Licks, right? And if you're from the South, like, you understand it, and then we have Observations of a River Dweller. And that's just along this journey of life, along this path, I've seen things, right? And it's just the way that I've seen them, the way that I've experienced it. And what I'm going to do with those experiences kind of lead into the last part of the book, which is called Freestyle Kings. And it's just the opportunity to say what you feel.
Yeah.
So many times we are afraid to say it.
That's a fact.
Now, there are times when you should bite your tongue. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
They say that that's one of the hardest things to tame, right? The tongue. But we got to say it sometimes.
For sure.
For sure. I don't know. That's what it is, man. But that's why I love to pick up. That's why I love picking up my pen, because I don't have to shade what I say.
Ooh.
I can dress it up, but I'm gonna say it regardless, right? I'm gonna say it regardless.
That's beautiful, man. Thank you for sharing a lot of that.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
For me, like, here's my journal. This is my journal, ladies and gentlemen, and I shared with you already. But this is my notebook of poetry, poems by Kemar. And my goal is that once I get to 100 poems, I'm going to release a 4-part series, 25 poems in each series. And that'll be my first official published work of poetry. But my writings, I journal every day. Continuing, I've been saying recently, like, every day is a good day to learn how to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
Every day is a good day to learn how to live. Like you said, like, it's easier to like die. We're given everything that could help us live a fast life. But it's like, put me in the pressure cooker, man. Like, let me do this thing slow. Let me learn what I need to learn about life to live the best and most fulfilled life possible. Writing helps me to do that.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I ran from writing for a very long time.
Yeah.
Because it was the actual writing part that I didn't like. It took labor.
This is
Writing, look, writing is work. For
That's
anybody out there, man, look, writing is work.
Yeah.
Crazy thing is, earlier today, I was looking at some of the writers from the Harlem Renaissance era, because we're living in our own Harlem Renaissance now.
story.
With all of the creatives and everything, writers, influencers, all these different titles that are coming up now. We're living in our own Renaissance now. So I was kind of like hearkening back to that time, those times. But I ran from writing, man, because it's like the work is like, man, I'm good. I can just store it in my head. I got a decent memory. I'm straight.
Yeah.
But it took my friends to like really help me see, like, no, bro, like, you got it. Effortlessly. Like, you should exercise that. You know, milk the cow for what it's worth.
True story.
You know what I mean?
You got to.
And so, like, I'm finally embracing that, journaling, doing my poetry, writing my first book, just getting my reps up. Because like I told you offline, my goal in life, I want to speak and write for the rest of my life. I am going to speak and write for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying?
And it's done.
And it's done.
And it's done.
Touching the agree, my
That's
brother.
real. Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? So, like, this is very therapeutic for me. Like I've shared with you offline too. Like, the top of the year, I've learned so much about myself. Even most recently, I've learned a lot more about Kemar. Constantly and consistently, purposely learning how to love myself enough, very much in alignment with what you were saying earlier, like, not for others to be okay with it,
right,
but for me, because at the end of the day, I gotta live with me.
Exactly.
You dig?
Yep.
And I think not only you, but myself, as well as our friends out here, we oftentimes beat ourselves up because of some of the things that we may give off that people don't even ask for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it gives them like a perception or whatever the case of you, and then you thinking about how they might look at you.
Yeah, that's real. It's so funny, man. This tattoo right here, my former job, just off work, after hours, at a crawfish boil.
Yeah.
Relaxed. I was just coming from work.
Yeah.
Shirt and tie, but I just showed up because I needed to be there, right, to make appearances, to continue working, relaxed atmosphere. So everybody's standing over the crawfish, over the crawfish here, bucket there, everybody's having fun, drinking beer, everything, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to get anything on my clothes.
Facts.
So I tuck my tie in and I roll my shirt up. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess up my shirt. I got my cufflinks. I roll my shirt up. I reach over to grab crawfish.
Yep.
My boss is standing beside me. Oh, we talking. Oh, Steve, today was great. We had a great day. Boom, 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 boom. As soon as I reached over, I saw his eyes look down at my arm. Now, I'm just realizing it's saying it now.
Yeah.
That, for me, initially, right, was like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
He saw it.
Yeah.
So me, I say, you know what? Crawfish ain't even that good for real.
Thanks.
Roll my sleeves down and I go to the other side of the room. He didn't say anything, but he didn't have to because I put it in his mind.
Facts.
Because I acknowledged him acknowledging it.
Facts.
But what I'm realizing right now while I'm talking to you is it is no coincidence that he saw that one. Because I was never supposed to be standing there at that bucket with him.
Come on.
I was supposed to be doing this.
Yes, sir.
And so his acknowledgement of that was God saying, that's what you're not supposed to be doing. Acknowledging what you're supposed to be doing. He wasn't looking at your tattoo. He was giving you an indication that you need to leave here and go write something. Come on. You know what I mean?
Goodness gracious.
But it's the truth doing everything.
That's heavy.
Everything. Like and it's just so funny, man. Like, I used to look at writing as an outlet. And we talked about cigars earlier. I said I love cigars. I never pick up a cigar if I'm stressed or if I'm angry, if I need a release, right? Because I want that to be my moment that's pure relaxation for me. Writing used to be my outlet. And I used to call it an outlet. But if I only look at writing as an outlet, then that means it's not doing anything for me. Right? And so now I realize that writing is like this pilgrimage that I'm on. Right? And it's no coincidence that poems are measured by feet. Because you're walking your pilgrimage, right? And so writing for me is a pilgrimage that's taking me on this journey. Gonna be ups, gonna be downs, but as long as it's me and my notebook,
come on,
it's not going to handle it for me. And so many times I felt like, writing's gonna help me deal with this. Maybe not. Maybe not. But at least it gives me a true companion that will always listen.
Wow.
And that will always give feedback if I go back to it.
Wow.
Like
that's good.
We journal, we write, but how many times do we intentionally go back to that?
That's good.
Right. If we don't go back to it, then you can't pull back from it. Right.
That's good.
So a lot of writers talk about the editing process, like how hard the editing process is. Right. And so it's like, if you don't edit it, you don't know what you said.
That's a fact.
You don't know. I don't know what I said in the moment.
That's a fact.
But there's meaning in between the lines.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a labor of love, man. We have to spend it, and it makes you slow down.
Yeah.
Writing slows life down. And I wish that I was as, together as you are with notebooks. Like, man, I've lost so much work.
Really?
But I had to get to a point where I said, you know what? It wasn't meant to come out. It wasn't meant to come out. Maybe I didn't say it right. Now, again, that's just me telling myself that, because some of the stuff I feel like was gems.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Look, man. This was good, bro. You fed my soul today.
Man, this was definitely a blessing. Look,
I ain't gonna hold you.
And I'm gonna perpetuate the stereotype of black men giving each other compliments when we see each other. And I'm gonna give you your flowers, man, and say that I bumped into you during the pandemic at the district.
Yep.
And when I saw him, I'm like, that's the dude that be riding the bike, jumping the rope, talking all positive. Who is this? I need to meet this guy to work on Wednesday. Like, who is this fella? I ain't from around here, is it? And so I started to go backwards and like watch all your work.
Man,
And so as much as I can appreciate having the opportunity to sit here and talk about my work, I would be remiss if I said that I'm not honored to be a part of such a platform that you created. That's not only just needed like in the black community, but like this is God's work for life, period. Like everybody needs this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, man, just keep pushing, and you will have that moment where you realize that I ain't been to work in a long time, but I'm good.
Come on.
All I've been doing is writing, but I didn't even realize it, right? And so that moment is coming, man. Just push it. Push that button.
God bless you, brother.
Yes, indeed.
Big facts. Listen, before we check out of here, I gotta say this, right? Writing is something, and I believe that I can speak for Steve as well. Writing is something that saved my life.
True.
Being able to get out of my head, get my thoughts on paper, you know what I mean? Reflect like this. These aren't just pages. Like this is a mirror.
That's hard.
Whew.
That's hard.
This is a mirror for one to reflect, not fighting with thoughts all day when I can just put them in my mirror and go back and reflect. Teach yourself something in the future that you've written in the past. You dig what I'm saying? Writing saved my life. Like I tell anybody, reading and writing will save your life. Oprah said this in regards to books. Oprah said that books were my passport to freedom. Whew.
That's tough.
Listen.
That's tough.
If you don't do nothing else in life, read and write. All right? I was sharing with my brother earlier. I began a routine. It has been doing wonderful for me. I wake up in the morning, 4 o'clock every day. I do a 15-minute meditation. I thank God for the day. Right? I write in my journal. I get ready for work or whatever I got going on that day. Right? Saturdays, I'm going on my bike ride on the reservoir. Sundays, I'm running with the Jackson Run Club. That's my cardio. Monday and Tuesday, I'm hitting the weights. Wednesday, I'm hitting the prayer walk, 2 miles. You dig what I'm saying? I'm praying. I'm manifesting. I'm affirming myself and the things that I want to come into my life. That has been electrifying for me as a black man, as a human, as a spirit having a human experience. I encourage y'all. I'm tearing up right now as I'm saying this, but I would implore you to get a routine that could really help you to ameliorate or improve oneself. Because this routine and this writing has worked wonders for my life.
Wow.
And we're going to end on that note.
Yes.
Once again, this was so good. Ken, wow. This was good, right? It's Kemar Kane coming to y'all the way live. Your favorite country cousin, your favorite Mississippian, and your best friend. You have just tapped in, my friend, to another great experience, phenomenal experience of Mental Shampoo with my brother Steve.
Yes.
Love and light, peace and blessings, love and respect. See y'all next trip.